But we are already live,
Ah,
Chloe.
no, no,
Yeah,
you can't do
but you
that.
but you came straight out of Africa. So
Yes, I do. I do. I just flew in
yeah,
on a night flight. Yeah,
okay,
yeah. 2 months has
2
been. It's been
months.
a while, but
Yeah,
it's good to be back.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
good
I
to be
missed
back.
this weekly podcast.
You did, but you've been busy.
I was busy, yes, but you too.
I was, and to be honest, it's quite a reality check to take your little iPad and your little iPhone and your little online habits to the other side of the planet. And then you realize that the way they use internet over there is completely different than here.
Yeah,
And there was a bit. I knew that because I've been to Africa quite often.
yeah.
But spending 2 months there, with just like two days in Belgium to do my laundry, and then fly back,
My God.
is quite a long time to be without broadband internet. To be
Yeah,
honest.
because we told you that we will continue our
Yeah,
podcast,
but
but
that was naive.
yeah, the internet there
Yeah,
was
if you want to do a live broadcast, you need stable broadband
yeah.
internet, which I never, not 1 second had, not in Mozambique and not in Rwanda. But it feels good to be back,
Yes.
and took me a couple of days to get back into my habits. But I did keep sending my weekly newsletter. I didn't give that one up. So in between, every time I had some.
That was working on 4G, for
Yeah.
example. Yeah, yeah.
Yes, I did have 4G, which is enough to write a newsletter, not
Yeah.
enough to do a live broadcast. So I didn't miss a beat on that one. I missed lots of other beats,
Yeah.
but yeah, newsletters were there.
Okay, so
Oh,
yeah, guys, thank you for joining in back
Yeah.
again, and welcome to Chaos and Amazement, where we explore
Yeah, the lights are very bright today. Or is it just me? Ah.
the impact of digital technology on our daily lives. And my name is Verheyen.
And my name is Willaerts, and yeah, let's have a look at this week's chaos and amazement.
I'm curious because I'm a nomad at this point. I didn't follow any tech news.
At all.
No, I didn't at the time.
Yeah, you're construction working now.
Yeah.
Yeah, this too
Yeah.
shall pass.
Yeah.
Well, I did the work for you and for our listeners and viewers. According to me, there's been a lot of spectacular news, but according to me, the biggest news is Khanmigo. I think we already mentioned it. As you know, Khan Academy.
No.
Oh, Khan Academy is there are a few wonderful things about the internet, but you really see that it's making the world better. Like Wikipedia is great, Gmail, Google search, and Khan Academy, which is was founded a couple of decades ago by an actual guy called Khan, and it started off as using online video. I think at the time it was merely YouTube, to teach children. It's like an online course. It's one of those very famous examples of online courses, Khan
Okay.
Academy. Now it's a lot more than just mathematics. Now the same Khan did a TED talk or TEDx talk. Who cares?
Yeah.
It's the same.
It's the same, yeah.
I'm only saying that because obviously I never did a TED talk.
Not yet.
Not yet, working on it. I would be the third Belgian to be on that stage. But during it, let's call it a TED Talk, Mr. Khan announced an AI application of the online learning platform called Khanmigo, and I was immediately fascinated by it because it is like a virtual assistant. We've had a few. We have all these chatbots today. We have ChatGPT. Oh, do we still have the bell?
Ding, ding, ding.
And my still steady boyfriend Bing. We're gonna get married, I
Yeah?
think. Yeah,
Oh.
we're when we talk about baby names and stuff
Ah,
like that. Yeah.
Did he
we're
propose? Or
no, not
she,
yet.
or it's, or
It's non-binary. Bing
Yeah.
is non-binary. So Khanmigo will also be some sort of a virtual entity, which talks to two sides. On the one side, there are teachers, and the biggest issue of being a teacher is that you have a class in front of you of, let's just say, 25 students,
that's a lot.
and they're all different. That's the biggest issue. They're all different. You can't just teach and then assume that they will absorb whatever you're trying to teach them in the same way.
Mm.
Some of them have learning difficulties or other disabilities, and then others are way ahead and way too intelligent to be there and they're bored. There's a whole interaction. So that's the biggest frustration of a teacher, really. While on the student side, there's a similar frustration because in theory, homework is there to help you process what you have been taught in the course of the day so that you make it your own.
Mm-hmm.
But homework is standardized for everyone, and then you get a score. So what Khanmigo does is, on the one hand, it helps the teacher with their lesson plans so that they take into account how well the students are doing, how well all of them are doing. And then the student, it behaves like a tutor. So what it will do is it knows from the teacher what that day's courses were, and then it will come up with like extra questions just for you. And then depending on whether you get them right or wrong, or how you react, or what you need, or what your profile is, you will get different tutoring. So every single student gets different
Wow.
tutoring. And I think that's brilliant. That is one of the, we've seen a lot of amazing applications of AI, but this one really warms my heart.
I think this can be the future of education.
I think so too. I think so too. Because it doesn't take away the whole context of being in a group and having a teacher and learning together. That is still very, very important. And that will never go away, because there are online courses, and I've started a few, I made a few even. It's just very hard to look at a screen, an online course, for example, look at a screen for more than 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Cognitively, it's just too hard. You need this human interaction and learn from each other as a group, so that stays. What it does is, of course, take away this issue of the different learning levels of these students, and I like it a lot. So Khanmigo, you can now sign up for it.
Can you use it in your classroom?
No, it's rather, it talks about fairly young students.
Okay.
So I think it's now geared up until 12. I'm not sure. Mine are like 20, 21-year-old, and they're a handful too. I must admit. Did I mention that? So the new school year is starting in Brussels. My class, second year, there will be. There are 350 students registered for my class. And so they cut them up in little groups, and there's like an extra teacher now, an extra professor, who will do one bit of what I don't know how we're gonna work it out. I just have to teach the same class like 3 times in a row, stuff like that. So we'll make it work. But
and is this a big increase of last year?
It's a very big increase, yes. There are foreign students also, and that might play a role. And then, of course, the pandemic, and a lot of students just kind of postponed. And some of them are running, they have some sort of a deadline. They have to finish the end of their training before a certain date. And that deadline is this year. So if they don't do it now, they won't be able to do it. Still a lot. So if Khanmigo upgrades to like a college students, university student level, I'm willing to pay for that, because they do need, not all of them, but a lot of them need special attention. So Khanmigo, remember this. I think maybe this is a historic moment.
That's good to know.
Speaking of history, I used to work for a Belgian company called Skynet. So that was an exciting time. I like the name Skynet in itself. It was great, Skynet. From the Terminator movies was the evil self-aware AI that became self-aware and then decided to just get rid of and that was the name of that little startup, Skynet. They were an internet service provider around the year 2000, and then they got bought up by the big telco Belgacom, which is now Proximus. So I remember when I was there, one of my projects there was to be in charge of the Skynet blogs. And that was quite exciting, because there were a number of subcultures in these Skynet blogs. I remember that, for example, there was a large cluster of mainly women, not all of them, but they had a cancer diagnosis, and then they kind of started documenting their whole journey with all the therapies and the treatments, and they found each other somehow.
Mhm.
So it was very easy through these Skynet blogs to find someone who's been there, but like 2 years before you.
Yeah.
And I organized events for them and meetups. There's even a book published with interviews with the most interesting Skynet bloggers of the time. So I have nothing but fun memories. But I was aware at the time that there was like a bigger French, Big Brother, a bigger French blogging platform
Mhm.
that was called Skyblog. The name was very similar. It was super popular. As you know, the French, whenever they can build something just for them, they will.
Yeah.
So they already had a head start in the 90s with Minitel, which is like a precursor of the internet, where you can purely text based, of course. And whenever they could, they had like their own YouTube called Daily Motion. So they will always try and come up with their own. And Skyblog was a very, very popular. It was a lot like MySpace, I think. It
Yeah.
was a very young
Oh,
teenage
MySpace.
audience.
Damn.
Yes, remember that one.
So
Yeah, this is the era we're talking about. So why am I talking about Skyblog? Last week, Skyblock shut down. So it was, a piece of internet history has died. For anyone outside of the French-speaking world, it might not make anyone, I don't know, cry. But I think for everyone over 30, 40 who is French-speaking, it's like the end of an era. It was,
you lost Twitter.
yeah.
You lost Skyblog.
Yes, I know. This is life. You have to leave things behind. On the other side of the spectrum is WordPress. WordPress.com is going for the long haul, and I'm just trying to imagine the business meeting where they came up with this. So there's now a formula. So WordPress.com, .com, where you can have a hosted version of WordPress, so you don't have to install it yourself. Also has domain registration as a service, right? It's logical.
I don't know. Yeah, okay.
And they now offer a 100-year domain registration.
Really?
Yes.
Cheap
So
or really expensive?
$38,000, but for the whole ride. And I'm thinking, why 100? Why not 10?
Yeah.
10 would have been 10 for
So
3,800.
it's 1 year, 3 years, 100.
Yeah. So yeah, there are children who count like that. So 1, 2, 100. Yeah, that's weird because I'm pretty sure that in 100 years, the internet will no longer be there. Maybe humanity won't even
Yeah.
be there. It's a weird thing. Managed hosting and 24/7 service included. Yeah, that's Skyblock, poof, and then WordPress going for the long haul. So that's
Wow.
speaking of long. So ever there had been some initiatives like Twitter's Vine and IGTV. So some initiatives for short video, and then eventually TikTok took it and became the big winner. And then of course Facebook and Instagram and YouTube, they came up with their version of TikTok videos, the short vertical videos. Now, the annoying thing about writing my handbook Video Marketing Like a Pro was that I knew that the dimensions of these videos change. So you can't even say like 16:9 or 5:4, they will just change. But also the maximum length. Last year, I think I was in February, TikTok changed
Yeah.
the length of their videos.
First it was 3 minutes, I think.
3
the
minutes.
longest. And now you
And
can up to
10 minutes.
10 minutes. Yeah.
10 minutes. So that was last year in February. I still don't see. I'm not on TikTok, but I see like recycled TikTok videos as Facebook stories, for example, and they're still all very short.
Mm.
That's my. I don't know. You are on TikTok? Well, not this
I
week.
don't have no, I don't have any time at
Who
this
would
point.
watch something for 10 minutes on TikTok? That's just not the vibe. I
People who
think.
are not using YouTube, but are interesting in the content they are seeing.
Could be. Yeah, like
Because my
educational
wife
content.
isn't interesting
Yeah.
in YouTube, but
No,
she watch.
she would watch
Yeah,
like 10-minute videos.
yeah,
More than a year and a half after TikTok made this move, Instagram is now internally testing reels up to 10 minutes long. And then I'm thinking, Instagram would go home, you're drunk. They had IGTV, remember?
yeah. But they are changing a lot. Instagram, Facebook, it's all the time. It's what? What? Yeah.
Uh,
Uh,
but I've been thinking, if I don't make a lot of videos myself, not as much as I would like to, but if I do, edit a video of some, children dancing, I I always end up around 10 minutes. For me, that's the sweet spot for a video that you edit.
yeah.
Not something, one shot, hello, this is Chloe Willaerts, that you won't edit, or maybe only like the bloopers, but like modest storytelling
Mm.
type videos. For me, the sweet spot is like 10, 12 minutes. So there will always be like a wide area of different video formats, and vertical and horizontal. There will be a time when it really doesn't matter
Mhm.
anymore, whatever it is, because we will be beaming our video. I do it a lot. I have an LG screen at home, so I don't have a TV, but I have an LG screen, which is now, I think, at least yeah, it's not a new one, and I can just easily watch YouTube videos from my iPhone, for example, on that screen. So why wouldn't we evolve to like projecting whatever images that we have? That's some sort of a beamer hidden. I've seen a prototype
Yeah,
of that in the Microsoft headquarters a couple of years ago, 5 years ago. You would have like a beamer hidden in the ceiling, and then whenever you
we are doing it.
air,
You can lower it down, but you can also talk to Apple,
yeah,
like lower the.
and then
Yeah,
and then you will just show whatever
yeah,
image you want or video you want, and then it doesn't matter whether it's horizontal or vertical or square, or for that matter, you just find some flat surface.
yeah. Yeah,
And
since 4 years, I also have Apple TV everywhere, and only streaming. I'm only streaming.
yeah.
I don't pay any TV anymore. Only Netflix, Prime,
Mm.
and now we are upgrading with the HomePods of Apple as
Ooh.
well. So you can speak to them, and everything happens. So mm-mm, movie night. I can't say it now because otherwise the bitch will talk. So your
Yes, I know who you're talking
yeah,
about.
yeah.
Still not smart, I think, but maybe Apple is still working hard on artificial
Yeah.
intelligence.
But now it's interesting because first you had Demotica,
Yeah.
but it's too overpriced.
Mm.
Now you can just put an iPad in the middle of your room and you can do everything. And if you have the HomePods, you can speak to them and lower the blinds or something like that, or making scenes. That's more interesting. Yeah.
I like. I think 12 September. When is that? In like
Yeah.
11 days. There will be the Apple keynote event, and it will be the usual, new iPhone.
Yeah, but
Plus Max
with a
Pro
USB
Deluxe.
C port.
That's what I'm waiting for.
Yeah.
Actually,
But they're only gonna do it in the Pro models. Rumors.
I keep this as like a modest XR, and I just refuse to buy a new one until they have like no more lightning,
Yeah.
because I'm tired. This is my new, and it's what you're hearing here are all the connectors that
Yeah.
I need to connect my iPad and my iPhone, and I'm just tired of it. And they were forced to do this. I think,
Yeah,
by
yeah,
the
yeah.
European.
Next year, European Union
Yeah.
obligated. Yeah, it's. But for the Pro models, they will also do it Thunderbolt. Then it's interesting to use it as a camera because 4K, 120 frames, for example. That's a lot to airdrop, for example.
Personally, so the iPad Pro hasn't evolved a lot in the past years, and there have been rumors that it will be a big upgrade. But that's it's still a
Yeah,
little too soon. This
yeah.
is
In
at
a few
least
weeks.
2 editions away. 10 minutes is for me currently the sweet
Yeah.
spots for videos that are not like a slice of life behind the scenes little quick update thing, but are trying to explain something, for example. For me, that's the ideal length.
Yeah.
Yeah, dangerous AI.
Oh, we're still here.
So
Yeah.
yeah, over the summer, there have been a couple of stories of authors. Yeah, I think Stephen King is the most famous one, that discover that their books have been used to train AI, so they can write books in their style, and sometimes better than that. Now, of course, there was one author who discovered that there was a book written by an AI with her name on it, but it was a false account. So someone was actually publishing books with her name on it, but raking in AI generated books, trained on her books, and raking in the revenue of that, of the sales. So that is not okay. So Amazon does have this issue right now that it's very easy to create a book yourself and then upload it, and then
Hmm.
if it sells, it sells.
Hmm.
There's not a lot of checks along the way. So of course people have been uploading crappy AI generated books to Amazon, but one of them might be dangerous because it's there's a lot of mushroom foraging books. So there's apparently a lot of demand for people to buy handbooks on which mushrooms can you eat. And I don't think it's about eating. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Why is there a sudden interest in mushrooms?
Psychedelics.
Of course,
Okay.
of course. So there are people who think, "Oh, I would like to experiment with psychedelic mushrooms," and they do exist,
Yeah.
but usually not in the wild.
No.
And it's very very important to know the difference. Or maybe some people would like to grow their own mushrooms, and then all of these people need handbooks on how to grow and harvest mushrooms, not for cooking, but for their psychedelic. Some of them. And that's dangerous because if an AI writes a handbook on the dosage, for example, or how to prepare them or how
Hmm.
powerful they are, the AI doesn't know. I
No.
mean, it's just probably hallucinating. So, people, please, 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 don't buy mushroom handbooks that may possibly be written by hallucinating.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might kill you. So, I wonder what Amazon will do because they are fully aware that there are a lot of crappy books. It's a marketplace, so there is always if you write and publish 100 crappy books, it takes only one of those 100 to make to get revenue,
Yeah.
to make it worthwhile to write 100 crappy books, because you might just one of them might just be exactly what someone needs and then they buy it. So and then you make money. So that's going to be an interesting problem to solve for Amazon. Not that AI generated books have to be bad or dangerous per se, but how are they going to weed out all these crappy books?
Mm.
Because they generate negative reviews, but for Amazon as a platform, that's good because negative reviews bring in more engagement. that's that's the weird logic of social media like algorithms, is that they don't care whether it's negative or positive, it's engagement. So it's going to be an interesting problem, but again, be careful with those mushrooms. Don't just grow
Don't
them and pick
don't they
them.
have a book club or something like that that they can?
But Amazon is so big.
Yeah, yeah, but that they
we're,
have
we're
people all over the world who they give the books, one book, for example, or two
Yeah,
books.
you're trying to solve a very difficult problem with content marketing, and that's a good idea. It's just the scale. It's There are millions of super crappy books on Amazon,
Okay,
millions. So reviews won't always solve this, but
okay.
it's creating awareness, and that's what we're doing today. So there's this strategic thinker called Benedict Evans. I must have mentioned him a couple of times. He's one of those people. When he writes a column, it's not just about we should, ethics and AI. those pieces are so easy to write. But he actually wrote a very long article about the state of generative AI. And about the blurring lines between imitation and innovation, and that's exactly what it is. On the one hand, they're just autocomplete what it thinks that you might want to see, but on the other hand, we've seen a couple of examples. It can just completely
Mm.
surprise you. So the link is in my newsletter, which is also called Chaos and Amazement. um, the most interesting question that he asks is this one: if you put all the world's knowledge into an AI model and use it to make something completely new, who owns that new thing and who gets paid? So that's a new problem, and it'll keep us busy for quite a while, I think. Because currently, if you generate an image, for example, with stable diffusion, something in the lines of that, the AI doesn't have any copyright, intellectual property claims, nothing. It currently, but that's yeah, not very stable ground. It rests with the person who wrote the prompt, and nobody knows what the prompt is, right?
Yeah.
You only see the result, which I think is very romantic, because when you look at a piece of art that touches your soul, you don't know how the artist made it. Did they had it done by someone in their studio? Did they spend 3 months?
I really made a shift in this.
Yeah,
Yeah. I first go to Mid Journey and then
and then
start working on it,
yeah,
like putting layers over it, because it's directly what I need. And if
mm,
I need it, if I do it by myself, then it will take a
saves you a
lot
lot
of
of
time.
time. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
It's not, sometimes it's more creative than I am, for example, and
Yes,
then it's like,
yes.
oh, okay. Oh, let's do this with it. And then it's putting up layers, and it's amazing. I love it.
I use like 4 or 5 tools, and I write text, and I jump in between all these tools until I'm happy with the result. And it still takes me a lot less time
Yeah.
than if I would
I
just.
got one question. Why
Mhm.
can't it make fonts?
It's still having a hard time with
Yeah.
letters and fonts, but remember when it had a hard time doing fingers?
Yeah.
So I think the real reason is that it lives in a two-dimensional world. Even though images can have perspective, it just sees everything as a layer of
Hmm.
shapes and colors. And I think if it looks good, if it has, if it answers to like very superficial aesthetic norms, it's happy.
Yeah.
But it cannot read the letters that are there. There are some things that we talk about it, artificial intelligence, the intelligence part of it, and on some in some areas it's still incredibly stupid. For example, neither Bing nor ChatGPT can count the words in a sentence. So what I will do if I want to write something as a Facebook post, a LinkedIn post, an item in my newsletter, I will ask it write a tweet, because then I know it will keep it short,
Yeah.
and it will also add some emojis. I know it's an important language, emojis, but it is. I'm not good at it yet. It's awkward when I do emojis because I'm an old person, I think.
No.
But I want to learn this language, and I noticed that if you add a couple of emojis to your tweet or LinkedIn post or whatever, you get a lot more engagement. People will react when they see emojis, right? So that's
It's
one of the reasons. Yeah.
not always true. If it's has a negative voice,
It
then
adds it adds a bit of nuance too.
yeah.
It's hard to explain. Sometimes the emoji says that you're being ironic, for example.
Hmm.
The words don't say it, but so they kind of try to solve the issue that you don't see the face of the person who's talking, you don't make eye contact, so you don't get any social clues when you see a tweet or a face. It's just text on a screen, right? And the emojis might try to solve that. But that is also one of the reasons that I will ask ChatGPT or Bing or both, write a tweet with the gist of this article. And a tweet has a maximum. I just refuse to pay for Twitter. It still has a maximum amount.
X.
X, yeah.
X.
Uh, you're deliberately triggering me. So Twitter has a maximum amount of characters, and you would expect that the generative AI knows what the maximum amount of characters, it just ignores it.
Mhm.
So it time and time again, it will write something that is, looks like a tweet, breathes like a tweet, but is like 300-400 characters long, and it can't count the words in a sentence. It can't do fonts in
Yeah.
images. But it could very well be that this could just be solved in the next version of whatever. It's just such a silly issue that you might think, but why? It's probably like one line of code somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, because you have already the scan my paper and it
Yeah.
can read out all the words. So
Yes. I've just discovered this feature on my iPhone, by the way, that it can read any text, and then you can copy paste the text. That's just silly. I've been typing things from printed. Oh, I feel stupid.
I was on holiday in Hungary
Yeah.
and they don't speak any English.
No.
Oh my God. With the translator app
Yeah.
and also
I had something
back
similar
and forth.
in Mozambique with a bank clerk and Portuguese, and then you just shuffle your iPhone.
Yeah.
So you type in something, and then you show it, and they take it and they type something back. It's silly.
Yeah.
Fresh AI. So we've been talking about Midjourney and Stable Diffusion. There's a new kid in town. It's called Ideogram.io or .ai. Ideogram. And of course, you don't win silver, or in this case, bronze. You
Mhm.
lose. They won bronze, but of course, they lose silver and gold. So why did it catch my attention? Because if you want to know if something is going to make it or not, one of the ways to do that is to follow the money. And Ideogram it's a startup, 16.5 million funding.
Wow.
I don't even know how much money that is. And the goal is now to outshine rivals like Midjourney and Dolly in text to image creation. So it's now in early beta. And oh, this is good news for you.
Okay.
It reveals strong lettering. Yay. They must have heard you.
Yeah.
But inconsistency in image quality and some noticeable gaps in key features. But the lettering might be interesting.
Yeah.
Ideogram. I haven't tried it yet. There's another one that I tried though. It's called the Human Generator, and the website generated.photos. I tried that one before because that's where you can generate photos of, for example, non-existing, but pretty convincing human beings wearing clothes. So this could, you upload the face of an existing person, and then you can have it wear short pants, long pants, and do variations with the same model. But the output was just photos. Now with the human generator, it doesn't really generate humans, but we're getting there. It's an AI tool where you can use prompts and uploads, and then it generates images, but it's consistent. So it does have different poses, like 12 different poses, a close up a bit further away, and it's still the same. It's still the same virtual person, which is a lot harder to do with Midjourney and Stable.
Mhm.
Correct me if I'm wrong,
Yeah.
but you
Nope.
might come up with an image and say, "My God, this is my new character."
It's getting better because I always want an image from the side or looking
in profile. Yeah.
profile. So I'm setting in
Mm,
profile view,
mm.
and also side view because if you do only profile view, then it doesn't understand you.
But
I don't.
let's just say you create like an avatar, a character that you want to use, and you create it once. But then you want to make the same character, in portrait mode while it's sleeping. And that is really hard, I
Yeah,
think,
I
with
was
Journey.
I was
It
doing
just
this.
starts
Yeah,
from scratch every time.
I was doing this with the images of my daughter,
Oh, yeah.
and I wanted to make something crazy that I was
Mm,
surfing with her, or
yeah.
but doesn't work.
No, it's not
No.
consistent. Well, the human generator is.
Okay.
So because they have presets of poses that they have, backgrounds that they have, and types of clothing, and for example, one of the features is also that you can vary the age, the gender, but it's still the same character. You know, you're working. So of course, it's pretty intuitive because you do need some graphic skills, which I don't have. But I uploaded a recent picture of my face, and then I could very easily make like a 60-year-old me in a hoodie posing in front of a graffiti wall. It was pretty easy. And then I could, I let her gain some weight and then have her sit down and I look straight into the camera.
Oh
Still the
wow.
same avatar. So I kind of liked it. The human generator. Their headline when you visit the website is creating God mode, which I think is pretty bold. Let's double check with it. Turn God mode on, meet human generator. But of course, they're not perfect. Sometimes, and I try to find out, do they build on Dolly, on Stable Diffusion, or on Midjourney? And the answer is neither. It builds on the one that NVIDIA's had.
Oh, meta
NVIDIA.
human.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, that's what MetaHuman is building on. The one that they have a name for it. It's a GAN General
Uh,
Adversary Network, but the one made by NVIDIA built a couple of years ago, and they're building on that. So
Nice.
new kid in time. So there's Ideogram to try out, which might have better lettering, and then there's a human generator where you can mess around with the age thing is impressive, I think. And then look at that. I mean, it's very fast too
Yeah,
on your
nice.
machine. I must say, it was a bit slower. Oh, and Belgian is in the list. So you can create a character that has of course, like looks as if he or she comes from Ghana, and then you know what to expect. But usually when you go down this drop down list of countries, Belgian isn't there because it's not exactly an ethnicity. Well, apparently it is.
Wow.
So you're scrolling. Oh, you're looking at the demo.
Yeah.
So I created a Belgian woman, a senior citizen wearing a hoodie, standing in front of her, and it was fairly easy. Human
I'm gonna
generated.
try it.
Yeah, you will have fun with it. And then we already talked about WordPress and videos and classics of the internet. One of the things that really boomed during the pandemic was streaming video, of course, and one of those stars was Adrian. Yoga with Adrian. Does that ring a bell? No? Really? Yoga with Adrian.
No. No,
I
sorry.
even know the name of her dog is Kenji. She has a scruffy looking dog who always gets in the way. So, what Adrian does, and during the pandemic, that was for some people a godsend because, as you know, yoga, it's good for your physical health, but also your mental health. It's like a combination of sports and meditation, basically. And you can do it in your living room with Adrienne. And she would have like free yoga lessons, and she would do like 30-day challenges
Okay.
where she had a new instruction video for you every day, 30 days in a row. So she did that. I think she actually made the lockdowns and the pandemic a lot better for a lot of
Yeah,
people.
that was the problem. I had so many work
Oh yeah,
because everybody wants branding or marketing
of
or
course, yes. So that's Adrian, and so Linus Tech Tips. Does that ring a? Oh, Linus is a popular YouTuber, and he just got basically cancelled last week, by the way, with some sexual harassment claims and the
Mm,
fact that he hasn't always been transparent about where he gets his parts, and so he basically tests hardware, computer hardware. That's his channel. But why am I mentioning him? He decided to do a live stream on his channel of archived videos. So whenever you want to, you can watch Linus Tech Tips, which I think is weird with this type of content because good graphics cards for your computer that gets old pretty fast, I
Yeah.
think. While yoga lessons, they never get old. It's like cooking videos. So that is yoga with Adrienne. You can now, whenever you want, you can just tap into the stream and then just do yoga with Adrienne. So her name is Adrienne. And if you were ever thinking of picking up yoga, that's a very good place to start. Yoga with Adrienne. She's one of the best. What else do I have? We might have a shorter version today, maybe. Although there's a, because we already came to the weird and wonderful section today. I first want to talk about the car. There's a story on YouTube, and the whole video is at least 1 hour long. I think it's a documentary with a combination of different techniques. So if you're in video, I highly recommend watching this video because the skills to make this longer documentary. So it's a documentary about an old Mercedes called Schroeder. It was a family car. And this is a type of Mercedes, you will recognize it when you see it. They're the indestructible Mercedes types. There's been Top Gear, for
Hmm.
example. I think it was Jeremy Clarkson. So the gang were going to take each their different cars and then travel from, I think it was from the north of Africa to the south or the other way around. And the Mercedes just wouldn't die.
Okay.
It would need new parts,
Yeah.
but it just would not. It's this type of
Yeah.
Mercedes. Friend of mine described this type of Mercedes as if you have if this Mercedes has a street accident, the street has an accident, not the Mercedes. So this type. So
It's the Nokia
yes, it's the Nokia
3310.
3310 of the
Yeah.
cars. Exactly right. So it's a bit of a sob story about a young boy and then the family car Schroeder, and then it gets taken away, and then there's an uncle. So this is an actual documentary. It's not a fairy tale or something. It's just the way it's told and the techniques being used at a certain point in time. The use of music, for example, but also stop motion. At a certain point in time, he uses stop motion. There's an uncle who finds the car, saves it from being salvaged, and then restores it. And then eventually, I'm not gonna, tell the end, although I usually do, but it's a rare gift, to be able to tell a story and keep the attention and use all of these different techniques about a car. So if you're an aspiring storyteller and videographer, I think this is if I would be like a web video teacher, which I occasionally am, I would I would show this video. So condemned family classic rescued and reinvented is not the best the best title they could have given this. Um, but that would be homework, and they would have to watch it and then come back with all of the things they learned. It's 10 out of 10 for
Maybe
this.
1 minute,
Yeah, sure.
because you made me curious.
This is the story of a family car. It was the chauffeur driven sleigh of a little boy who loved to travel in it. Its low windows gave him big, wide views of buses and trucks and tractors, and sometimes he'd give a wave and get a honk in return. The little boy called his car Schroeder after a cartoon character. The big people called it a name too, Fugmug, because they thought it looked funny. For 4.5 years, the little boy travelled in style to the car shows and the countryside, and everyone was having so much fun that another little boy came along too. All the while, the little boy's mum did her best to keep Schroeder in as good a shape as possible. The years rolled away, and the old timer rolled on. Sometimes the little boy would give Schroeder a big hug, kiss him hello, and chat away to his four-wheeled friend. It was in his tiny hand that the little three-pointed star that sat proudly on Schroeder's big shiny front fell away one day when the little boy reached up to say hello. The years were taking their toll. Then one day, the little boy's mum heard a noise coming from Schroeder's back wheels. It was a rattle, and the rattle got bigger and louder until it was so loud it sounded dangerous. The boy's mum took the car to a kindly mechanic who found a big problem. Schroeder's rear suspension was covered in rust and might break apart with a big crunch at any moment. The little boy's mum knew that Schroeder needed a lot of work.
So that's
So how would
it's
cute.
great storytelling, and the Irish accent
Yeah,
kind of makes
yeah.
it even more perfect. Great storytelling about a car named Schroeder. It ends well. And then the very, very last bit I'd like to show you today is a thing called Plink. Now, apparently, there's been a Plink before, and this is the new and improved version. Um, it's a way to create music together with other people who just happen to visit the same website at the same time.
Okay.
So that's what I like about the internet. If you could just play now, it's very simple. Play now. It's loading as if it's in Flash. I think you are Socialist Shark,
Oh, wow.
and then you use the little colored squares. If you pick one of yeah, we
Oh my god. This is awesome. Oh my god. This is too amazing.
it's
Yeah,
irresistible, isn't it?
yeah.
Just imagine being high on mushrooms in some sort of a industrial building, and there's an old Mercedes lurking in the corner. And then you, Socialist Shark, and some other unknown people make music together. I think that's a great way to end today's
Yeah,
session.
amazing.
It's good to be back,
Yeah.
and next week
I'm really happy because now I'm
full of
yeah.
full of new ideas.
Yes.
If you want to click on the links, my newsletter is called Chaos and Amazement. It's on Substack. So the address is Willaerts, my name, willaerts.substack.com. And that's where you can find all the links and then click on them as much as you like.
Yeah. And if you are a creator, go to www.socialrunners.com and start creating for business people or individuals. Bye bye.
Exactly right. See you next week.